I rode the ride with one glove so I could use my phone effectively. And I was like, man, if I had a GPS, I could just look down and see which way to go here. So today we're talking about GPS units. So you might use your phone right now to track your rides, and you get things like mileage and elevation gain and time and speed and all that good stuff. But maybe you're looking at doing a dedicated GPS unit, or maybe you've never considered doing a dedicated GPS unit. Well, today I thought we'd maybe go over some options, maybe talk about some advantages of going to a dedicated unit versus your phone. So the first big advantage of maybe switching to a dedicated unit would be data. So your phone is pretty good about capturing information about your ride. But if you're kind of moving into that next step of riding, maybe you're looking at doing some training for, say, that big ride, maybe you're doing some like triathlon type stuff, the GPS unit's going to give you a lot more information. So think things like power meters and heart rate monitors, and you kind of get into that arena. You're going to want something that's a little more dedicated and better at capturing that information, as well as uploading things like training plans to your GPS unit. So if you're getting more into that side of riding, the GPS unit is really going to be able to help you out there. So the other big advantage to a GPS unit is it's something you can kind of keep in front of you and have that data at a glance. And so I know for me, I ride with my phone sometimes and I have it stored away in my pack. I've written in my jersey pocket. And if I need to check something, it's kind of a pain to pull it out. But with the GPS unit, it's nice just to look down and see that, okay, this is the mileage, this is the elevation, this is the time. It's kind of nice to be able to see that information easily. And so the third thing about a GPS also is probably going to be navigation. And so if you've ever used an app like, say, Ride with the GPS or Trailforks, and you're somewhere new and you're kind of checking your phone constantly for navigation, it's kind of a pain to pull it out. I was on a ride recently and I was in a new area, I'd never been there before, downloaded the route from Trailforks, and an awesome route, but there's a lot of junctions and intersections, and I had to constantly pull out my phone to check which way to go. And it became kind of a pain, and so I ended up just riding with my phone in my pocket. I rode the ride with one glove so I could use my phone effectively. And I was like, man, if I had a GPS, I could just look down and see which way to go here. And so the navigation is huge, especially if you're doing something like bike packing, or you just travel a lot with your bike and you're riding new trails pretty consistently. It's nice to be able to have that navigation option. And then another nice thing about the GPS is probably form factor. They definitely make mounts where you can mount your phone to your handlebars. But I mean, phones are so big these days, they're also pretty pricey. So if you go down in a crash, do you really want your brand new iPhone on your handlebars as you crash in a rock garden? Maybe not necessarily. And so the form factor of a GPS makes it nice. They're pretty small, they're pretty robust, so it might hold up in that crash a little bit better than, say, your new iPhone. And so today I've got a couple options here to look at. We're doing a nice little spread, starting with something that does basically the essentials and nothing else, in a compact form factor, all the way up to a Garmin Fenix, which is like the kitchen sink. It has every feature under the sun, it has tons of data fields and tons of customization to it. So we'll start off with the Lezyne Macro Easy GPS. So a lot of people know Lezyne for their awesome floor pumps, their amazing tools. People don't know that they've been making GPSs for a long time, and actually really quality units. And so the thing I really like about the Lezyne is it's really simple and easy to use. You can set it up in probably 10 minutes. It doesn't take a lot of reading manuals and that sort of thing. It's very intuitive. So this one is really perfect for customers who maybe they have a phone and they like really simple data fields. They don't need a lot. And also, maybe you're coming from a simple bike computer. You have one of those cat eyes with the wires, and maybe it died and you can't really find a replacement for it. And you want something a little more high tech, this is a great option because it gives you the essentials. So it'll do things like elevation, it'll do things like mileage, it'll give you the time, all that kind of stuff, and distance. It has a breadcrumb option, so it'll create a trail as you're riding. So if you maybe took a wrong turn, not quite sure exactly where you are, the GPS will show you where you've been, so you can kind of backtrack your steps. And that's about it. It's just a very simple device. It connects to your phone, your computer to upload. And the best thing about this is this thing is about the cost of a tire. So for about the cost of one tire, you can have a fully functioning GPS and for tracking all your rides. So next up, we have the Garmin Edge 830. So Garmin is making GPS units forever. They are synonymous with the GPS units and bike computers, and they've been doing it a long time. They are kind of the 1,000-pound gorilla in the room, and this is the 830 unit. So they have one below this called the 530. Today we're looking at the 830, which has a few more features. So some nice things about this one, full color screen. It's a touch screen on it, so no more digging through menus with buttons. Buttons feel kind of primitive this time, this day and age. We're all used to having touchscreens on our phones and our cars, so why not on your GPS unit? So the really nice thing about this one is easy navigation. So full color screen, it'll do turn by turn. So if you upload a route, it'll say, hey, turn left on 5th Street, right on 5th Street for 2 miles, then turn right on 8th Street. Or even if you have trails on there and that someone's actually uploaded the trail names on there, it'll do the same thing. It'll say stay right on Skyline or turn left on Snake Run or something like that. And so the navigation makes this a really nice unit. The other really cool thing about the new Garmin's is they pair with e-bike motors and like computers. So let's say you have your e-bike and you don't really want to have your e-bike mode like mount and your Garmin, you know, that's kind of a lot of screens. So you can pair everything with your Garmin. So it'll show you things like battery life, it'll show you power level, it'll show you kind of all the information that your screen from your bike will show you. And yeah, just super nice to have everything in a nice compact unit. So the 830 also does all the traditional GPS things. So think like, you know, hook up your heart rate monitor and your power meter and all that kind of stuff. So if you're getting more into the training side, it'll do all of that. You can pair it with an app called Training Peaks, and you can upload training programs and everything like that. So just a really nice, fully functioning unit. Not really too many downsides to an 830. I mean, I would say the only downside might be, compared to the Lezyne, might be price. It's a little bit pricier, but you also get a lot more features. So if you're looking for that really feature-rich experience, Garmin 830 is the one for you. So last but not least, we're looking at the Garmin Fenix 5 Plus Sapphire. Definitely a mouthful, and it probably reflects all the features in this watch. So this will pretty much do everything for you. And I would say the ideal user for this one is going to be someone who does a lot of different activities. So if you're into hiking, you're into trail running, you're into cycling, you're into skiing, you're just doing a lot of different things and you want to track all those activities, this has a mode or an app for each of those. And so you can really pull out, you know, the data you need, and it's kind of fun to look at all that stuff. I would say the other nice thing about it as well is if you have maybe an Apple Watch right now or another wearable, and you're really into tracking things like step count and say standing time and sleep and all that kind of stuff, it'll track all that as well. So you could really replace, this is a great kind of an update to someone who likes their Apple Watch, but they need more active features. And the other really killer thing about this is in the watch mode, it'll do 12 days of battery life. So it's a pretty awesome thing. You don't have to plug it in every night. You're plugging this thing in, you know, maybe like once a week or so. So Garmin Fenix 5 is definitely an awesome option. So today we looked at some good options. So if you're ready to maybe leave the phone at home or just leave it stored in your pack, you've got 3 great options here. There are many, many more options on the market. So if you want to talk about these or maybe talk about something else for your needs, feel free to give a gear advisor a call. We're happy to walk you through it and see what's going to be best for you. Thanks for watching, and keep pedaling.